Have you ever been lying in bed at night? Everything quiet. When suddenly a dog starts barking into the darkness. No one's there. Nothing moves. So why do they do it? Are they sensing something we can't? Or is there a deeper reason hidden in their instincts? Nighttime barking is one of the most common and most misunderstood dog behaviors. For many owners, it feels random, even mysterious. Why would a calm, friendly dog suddenly become alert, vocal, and restless after sunset? But the truth is, dogs are not barking without reason. In fact, this behavior is deeply connected to their biology, their senses, and thousands of years of evolution. Dogs experience the night very differently than humans do. While we rely mostly on vision, dogs depend heavily on hearing and smell, senses that actually become more powerful in the quiet darkness. Scientists and animal behavior experts have studied this behavior for years, and what they found is fascinating. Night barking isn't just noise. It's communication, instinct, and sometimes even a warning. And as we explore this, you might start to see your dog in a completely different way. When the sun goes down, the environment changes, not just for humans, but especially for dogs. During the day, there are constant background noises. Traffic, people, movement. But at night, everything becomes quieter. This silence actually makes distant sounds more noticeable. Dogs have hearing that is far more sensitive than ours. They can detect frequencies up to around 65,000 hertz, compared to our limit of about 20,000 hertz. This means that at night, your dog may hear things you cannot. Footsteps far away, animals moving, or even subtle vibrations. Imagine this. You're asleep, but your dog hears a faint rustling hundreds of meters away. To you, the world is silent. To your dog, something is happening. That bark isn't random, it's a response. But what exactly are they responding to? The answer becomes even more interesting. Long before dogs became our companions, their ancestors, wolves, were most active during twilight and nighttime. In the wild, night is when predators hunt, territories are challenged, and survival depends on awareness. Barking, howling, and vocal communication were essential tools. Even today, domesticated dogs still carry these instincts. Behavioral studies show that dogs retain many traits from their ancestral past, including territorial defense and alert signaling. So when your dog barks at night, they may be doing what their ancestors once did, guarding their territory. For example, if another dog barks in the distance, your dog might respond. This is not just noise, it's a form of communication, almost like saying, "I'm here to..." But are they only reacting to other animals? Not always. Dogs don't just hear better at night. They also smell better. Cooler nighttime air allows scents to travel farther and remain stronger. This means your dog can detect smells from much greater distances after sunset. A passing animal, a stranger walking by, or even a new scent in the environment can trigger curiosity or alertness. For instance, a dog might bark because they smell another dog that passed by minutes earlier, even if nothing is visible anymore. Most dog owners never notice this. From your perspective, nothing is happening, but your dog is experiencing an entire world of signals, sounds, smells, and movements that you simply cannot perceive. And sometimes, this heightened awareness leads to something else. Anxiety, that not all nighttime barking is about protection. Sometimes, it's about uncertainty. Darkness limits visibility. Even for dogs, when they cannot clearly see what they are sensing, it can create confusion or fear. Veterinary behaviorists explain that dogs may bark as a way to cope with this uncertainty. It's their way of saying, "I don't understand this, but I'm alert." For example, a dog might hear a strange sound like wind, moving objects, or distant footsteps, but not be able to identify it visually. Barking becomes a defensive reaction. This is especially common in younger dogs, or those not fully familiar with nighttime environments. If your dog barks more when alone at night, it could also be a sign of separation anxiety. In the quiet darkness, feelings of isolation can become stronger. But here's where things get even more interesting. Sometimes, dogs aren't reacting to fear, they're trying to communicate. Dogs don't bark just to make noise. Every bark has a purpose. Animal behavior research shows that dogs use different types of barks, depending on what they're trying to communicate: alert, warning, excitement, or even boredom. At night, barking often serves as an alert signal. For example, if your dog hears movement outside your home, they may bark to warn you, even if you don't wake up. In neighborhoods with multiple dogs, this can quickly turn into a chain reaction. One dog barks, another responds, and suddenly, it sounds like the entire area is awake. But here's something fascinating. Dogs can recognize the meaning behind other dogs' barks. They can tell whether it signals danger, curiosity, or just a response. So when your dog joins in nighttime barking, they may be participating in a kind of long-distance conversation. But there's still one more reason, and it might surprise you. Not all barking has a deep evolutionary reason. Sometimes, it's simply because your dog has energy. If a dog hasn't had enough physical activity or mental stimulation during the day, that energy doesn't disappear. It builds up. At night, when everything is quiet, that energy can turn into restlessness and barking. For example, a dog left alone in a yard overnight may bark at small triggers, not because they're dangerous, but because the dog is bored and looking for stimulation. This type of barking often repeats and may continue for longer periods. So while some nighttime barking is instinctual, some of it is simply a sign that your dog needs more engagement during the day. But now, let's uncover the most surprising part of all. Scientists discovered something fascinating. Dogs don't just react to the night. They anticipate it. Research into canine circadian rhythms shows that dogs, like humans, have internal biological clocks. They naturally become more alert during certain times of the night, especially early evening and just before dawn. This means your dog may become more sensitive and responsive, even before anything actually happens. In other words, your dog isn't always reacting to something. Sometimes, they're preparing for it. But the real reason might surprise you. Your dog isn't just here in the night, they're interpreting it. So the next time you hear a dog barking at night, remember it's not random noise. It's instinct, awareness, communication, and sometimes even emotion. Dogs experience the world in ways we cannot fully understand. Their hearing reaches farther, their sense of smell goes deeper, and their instincts connect them to an ancient past where survival depended on alertness in the dark. For them, the night isn't quiet, it's alive. And that bark you hear? It might be a warning, a response, or simply your dog saying, "I'm here, and I'm aware." Now here's a question for you. Does your dog bark more at night? And have you ever wondered what they might be hearing? Let me know in the comments. Your dog's behavior might reveal more than you think.